So what's the best, way to be adjusting your calories on a fat loss phase? Now, there isn't inherently like a best way to adjust your calories on, like whether you should increase output or, reduce your calories. Because at some point within your fat loss phase, weight loss, fat loss is going to stall. And so it's very important that we make changes to ensure that fat loss doesn't plateau during our fat loss phase. But I feel like there isn't inherently like the best way to, you know, adjust your calories, adjust your like output or your calories on, like whether you should increase cardio or, whether you should drop calories down. Um, Either one will still like do the job because fat loss is still going to continue either way. Like you're still going to be losing fat either way. But I feel like there's some cardio strategies out there that if you apply this one, it will make cutting easier than if you did this type of cardio strategy instead. So the best cardio strategy, before I get into my one, just want to say that the best cardio strategy is the one that you can stick to. And when it comes to doing your cardio, you want to make sure that you do zone two cardio and don't be doing no hit cardio. The reason why I'm saying to not do hit cardio is simply because, yes, it does burn more calories in a short period of time compared to moderate cardio. But as you get deep into the cut, obviously recovery is going to matter a lot more. And if you just keep doing your hit workouts during your, like, towards the end of the cutting phase, then, or let's say like midway onwards, then it can put more stress within your body, make recovery seem to be harder, and it will just be less sustainable for you because obviously you're gonna experience these, painful like walks, you're gonna just your body's gonna physically fight back. So if you're just gonna, you know, put your body into stress even more, then your body is gonna be stressed way more. So when it comes to doing a cardio, you want to try to avoid hit cardio as much as possible. Ideally, like if you really want to do it, then do it once a week, or like once or twice a week, whether that's, Muay Thai, um, grappling, running, or, these like hit classes, whichever cardio you do, whichever one of those hit cardios you do, minimize it as much as possible. And you may obviously need to remove it towards the end of the cut, but towards the start of the cut, you can do it once or twice a week. It's fine because obviously you just started doing your cut. But other than that, though, if you don't need to do your hit cardio, then don't do it. I'd rather you do moderate cardio for a longer period of time than do hit cardio for a shorter period of time in any fat loss phase. And negative effects of hit cardio is that it will raise your cortisol levels, making fat loss way harder, and it will make recovery even worse. It will be harder for you to recover from doing hit cardio than with moderate cardio or with low intensity cardio like steps, you know? So that's what I would say to avoid hit cardio as much as possible and stick to doing steady state cardio and steps as your main like two cardio tools. Now, when it comes to doing steady state cardio, moderate cardio, you wanna do it on any machines that are non-impact. So this can be Stairmaster, cross bike, incline treadmill, whichever one you do, it doesn't matter because the best form of non-impact cardio is the one that you can stick to and the one that you can recover from the best. And when it comes to, and the reason why you want to be doing non-impact cardio is because we don't want to put our body or our joints into stress a lot. And if you do, right, so therefore, if you do cardio that's very non-impact, it won't put any impact on your joints at all. It won't really impact your joints. And that's very important, especially when you get deep into the cut. to be doing something that doesn't really put too much stress within your joints. So that's what I'm saying. Do any non-impact cardio as long as it's non-impact, you know? So yeah, and obviously on top of that, you want to be doing steps as well, because steps is firstly it's low intensity. You can do a lot of steps without feeling, you know, fatigued, you know. So that's just like kind of like my introduction when it comes to cardio and stuff. So let's move on now onto why actually how I set off my cardio plan to lose fat. Like what was my like cardio plan, my cardio strategy to go from this to this. So I did this cut for 17 weeks. This entire cut was for 17 weeks. And so from weeks 1 to 2, I started off doing cardio fairly low. Started off doing it at a minimum, like started doing like a minimum amount. So like minimize the output from the start because we don't want to like start to do out. We don't want to do that mistake of slashing the calories down too much and then obviously raising the cardio a bit too much as well, aka like an aggressive cut. That's kind of like an aggressive cut setup, and I would not recommend doing that because it's very unsustainable for most people. So instead, drop just below maintenance. So I was eating at 2,400 calories. I was weighing in at like 74 kg, so my calories are therefore it makes sense that my I'm makes sense onto why like I'm eating 2,400 calories. So yeah, you guess you can say that my food is very high, which is something that I agree as well. So yeah, I was eating my calorie intake was 2,400 and started off with 10K steps in 20 minutes on the Stairmaster. I just like the Stairmaster. I just enjoyed doing Stairmaster way more than incline treadmill, so decided to do Stairmaster. And yeah, kept the steps 10K. It's easy to get. So, and yeah, started off the cardio at a very low amount with 20 minutes. Did this at a heart rate of 120 to 140, or yeah, 120 to 130. Doesn't matter as long as you're in zone two. But ideally, you want to be doing it at 120 to 130, ensuring that your average heart rate, the entire like 20-minute duration, is at 120 to 130. And that was my aim. It's picking a level that would roughly make me be at 120 to 130. You can check this, using an Apple Watch, whatever device, but Apple Watch is the best. I think Apple Watch is the most accurate form of device to be tracking your heart rate and tracking your steps, of course, as well. So get yourself an Apple Watch if you can, and obviously make sure that Stairmaster is at 120 to 130. My rate of weight loss was like 0.7 to 1 kg per week, and obviously I didn't hit that rate of weight loss after week 2, so made changes, increased steps to 2K, and increased the cardio duration to 10 minutes. Was still doing it at a moderate pace, was still being at zone 2. Then after that, for some reason, week 3, rate of weight loss still didn't still slowed down. So I just ended up raising the output even further again by doing another 2K and increasing the cardio duration to 10 minutes on the Stairmaster again. I like to keep my steps high, so therefore that's why I decided to increase steps to 2K. I feel like it's better to increase your output like this rather than keeping steps at 10K and doing um, and just increasing the cardio duration. So just burn a bit more calories from doing it like that. But yeah, and then obviously I was doing cardio started slightly to becoming demanding. I was experiencing a little bit of soreness. So yeah, I ran this eating at 2,400 calories and doing this much cardio, this much output for from week 4 all the way to week 8. So for 4 weeks, rate of weight loss was hitting on spot, was hitting 0% to 1 kg every single week for those next 4 weeks. And then after like week 8, that's when rate of weight loss slowed down. So it would make sense that um raising the cardio even further would be a less practical would be less practical. So I decided, you know what, instead let me drop the food down because obviously, like I said, cardio was starting to become a bit demanding. I was doing a fairly good amount of output as well. Output was fairly high. So yeah, decided to drop the food down. Dropped it in the form of fats. You want to drop in the form of fats first before we drop carbs down, so we can still maintain our gym floor performance. We still have the good amount of carbs required to maintain our training performance and obviously to maintain energy levels as well within the gym. And then obviously from week 9 to 10 onwards, I can't remember which week it was, but it was definitely one of these weeks. I started alternating between Stairmaster and incline treadmill because obviously as I became fitter and incline treadmill was just like it, I decided to switch to incline treadmill and obviously like alternate between Stairmaster and incline treadmill, depending on like how I felt. And the reason why I was started to switch to incline treadmill was because obviously first thing I became fitter, but secondly it was easier on my joints compared to the Stairmaster. So decided, you know what, let me just switch to incline treadmill and obviously alternate between the two depending on how I'm feeling throughout the day. But yeah, doesn't matter which one you do, doesn't matter which one you alternate to, as long as you keep the ingredient the same, the 120 to 130, then you'll be fine. Because like yes, the Stairmaster burns more calories, but the calorie difference between Stairmaster and incline treadmill is not even really that much. So the difference is not going to be like much larger from Stairmaster compared to incline treadmill. But yeah, and then obviously from like after 4 weeks, I hit my rate of weight loss spot on for those next 4 weeks after week 9. So no changes needed to be made from week 9 all the way to week 12. Then after well, I should say week 8 to week 12. But yeah, still same thing anyway, same shit. But yeah, and then after like week 12, that's when the rate of weight loss slowed down again. So I decided I felt like I was still able to do 50 minutes to increase the cardio and do 50 minutes. I felt like I was still able to do that because obviously I'd rather keep my food high and do high amount of output than keep the food low and do a low amount of output because my appetite was very huge. So decided, you know what, let me just increase cardio one final time. But I didn't increase steps. I raised the cardio duration to 10 minutes, but I also raised the heart rate a little bit slightly higher, ensuring that the heart rate is at minimum 130 and not minimum 120. So did it at heart rate 130 to 140. Obviously still being in zone two, but I wanted to make sure for the average duration, like for the average heart rate across this 50-minute duration, that my heart rate was at 130 minimum. And so yeah, I raised the level slightly until obviously I until my heart rate is at 130 to 140, minimum 130. And then after that, the week after that, literally in 1 week, rate of weight loss still didn't slow down. This possibly could be due to obviously um, fatigue, all of that stuff. But nevertheless, I just decided to just make changes either way, because obviously your body is going to start to adapt. It may adapt very quickly. You never know. So decided to obviously this was starting to become very demanding. So decided to just drop the food down because my food was still fairly high. So yeah, I dropped 200 calories down again, mainly from carbs, a little bit from fats, but most of those calories were dropped in the form of carbs. Because obviously we can't do a zero fat diet. Obviously that's not possible to do, especially on a carb. We need some fats within our diet. But yeah, dropped it again, and then 2 weeks later, dropped the food down again to 1800. I only had like 2 more weeks left, so like I know this is quite a long amount of food, but if you honestly do it if you honestly have like 1 to 2 more weeks left, then you can, oops, then you can basically like just embrace and eat that much calories. If it's for like the last 2 weeks, then it's fine. As long as you don't like eat at 1800 calories for like at the very start of your cut, then it's fine. If it's for like the last 2 weeks, then you can just easily wing it at 1800 calories. And to be fair, it wasn't really that bad, 1800 calories for those last 2 weeks. Um, but yeah, I feel like if it was lower, then it would have been harder. Like if it was at 1700 calories or lower, then it would have been harder. But nevertheless, if it's just for like the last 2 weeks and you want to drop calories down, then yeah, go for it. You know? But yeah, that's my like entire cardio strategy. So as you can see, we did to be fair, from like the first 2 months, s- food like the food was still very high and was also mainly increasing the output. And obviously, there isn't like a best cardio strategy, but I feel like some cardio strategies will make fat loss way easier than others. And the way to do it is, the way to make it easy is to instead of lowering the food down very early, you want to keep the food, you want to keep food as high as possible for as long as possible. As you can see from the first 2 months, my food was kept very high. But anyways, you want to keep it as high as possible for as long as possible, and adjust your like make changes from doing high output first before you drop the food down, so that we can manage diet fatigue as much as possible for as long as possible throughout your whole entire like cutting phase. But yeah, that's my entire cardio strategy. If you want my help to get into 10% body fat, then comment down below within this video the word or phrase 10%, then I'll reply back with a link for you to for of a coaching application for you guys to fill out. And then obviously we'll book a call and then we'll speak up, we'll see if you're the right fit. And a big announcement, the first 2 people who do that, they will be getting coached for free with no payment required. So if you really want to get coached by me with no payment, then you best comment down below in this video the phrase 10% body fat. Other than that though, if you found this video helpful, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel. The fact that you watched this video is good enough for me. Thanks for watching as always. I'll see you lot in the next video.